Is there anything better on the Real Kyper Bourne Show, Leaf Hour edition, than game day for the Toronto Maple Leafs? We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Big hello, watching, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, and assistant producer Ethan Gabor.
You gotta hit it. That's great.
Really enjoying saying Jaja.
I really enjoy that his 20-something friends are like, who is Jaja and what are they talking about?
What are they talking
like
about?
it.
Exactly.
Doing great so far.
Yesterday was kind of an interesting show. A lot of feedback. Our big boss, Ryan Fabro, of course, loved the trade talk.
Yeah.
And I just want to make it clear here. I don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go on the show and start trading Willie Nylander.
Right.
It was Sammy's fault.
Sammy did.
Okay.
He's to blame.
No different than I wake up and I'm going to rip a 19-year-old teenager from the World Juniors for talking about how to market and sell the game in the NHL.
Right.
That was your fault.
Okay.
My whole point in all of this is sometimes you guys bring out really bad things out of me.
Yeah.
Somebody read the comments.
The only comments I read were there like, you idiots. And I was like, wait, I was pro Willie. But happens.
I just bring you what Leaf fans are talking about.
That is how I see Sammy, as like the direct
conduit.
Yes, that's a great word.
Thank
You are
you.
the conduit between the people and the show. The connective tissue.
And to put a bow on yesterday's show, I did make a few calls and I'm like, okay, what's the deal with checking from behind?
Yeah.
And they're like, and I called a few people, including some in the league, and they're like, yeah, we don't really call it unless it's someone's flying into the boards. Like, as long as someone has the puck and it's open ice, you can check from behind.
I don't know what to tell you. You can't check from behind. It's in the rule book. It's illegal. It's been a penalty as long as I've been live.
I'm not doing this again.
No, I'm just telling you. That's the general feel that I
agree
got.
that, like many infractions in the NHL, it's not always called.
Yes.
And yeah, when it looks bad,
Sure.
it gets called. Boarding is actually bad too.
When it's against Sammy's Maple Leafs, it should be called by the book.
Laughton ate the dasher.
Yeah, I know. And
Why are we doing this again?
It should have been boarding. It should have been boarding.
There
This
should have
is
been
not a hockey
some
play.
sort of. You should have been penalized at all for that.
Yeah. In
2 minutes,
You
sure.
should have been reprimanded verbally.
yeah. Like just you can't do that.
Okay.
You saw him coming though, so
Just
you're allowed to hammer
wanted
a
to
guy
put a
face
bow.
first on the boards.
Just wanted to wrap it up.
I don't.
Yesterday's show, as we progress to today's show, where the Toronto Maple Leafs are in Philadelphia. Speaking of Scott Laughton, this will be his first return back after the big trade.
Oh, I bet they do a whole thing there. Right?
They
loved him.
As Toronto Maple Leaf fans are finding out, and have found out rather quickly, what's not to love?
Totally. Brings it, competes. He's a smart guy, a compassionate guy. You're right. He is the type of guy you want to wear the C for your hockey team. If he were someone who played regularly and was some,
And scored a little bit more.
Well, it's tough, right?
It's tough.
It reminds me like when Andrew Ference was the captain of the Oilers and they were scratching him sometimes.
My buddy Chris King was a captain in Winnipeg, and people kind of were like, can a guy that plays that role be a leader? And it's like, yeah, he can. I'm just not sure people truly accept a C on a jersey.
But that's where Laughton is at.
Yes, 100%.
That type of guy.
He has given the Leafs a presence, no doubt. So you want to go to the head coach for our first Kyper's Clipper on Scotty Laughton.
Well, a lot. I think, you look at both on and off the ice. I think off the ice, he's just such a great teammate and locker room guy, and brings a lot of life to the team and energy and superhuman. And on the ice, he gives you the effort, right? He's an effort guy out there. He's a worker. And he has skill too. But he does a lot of the work for us. He's one of our dependables, I call him. He's penalty killing. He's out there in those situations where you're defending the lead and end of the game and all those types of things. That's what he brings to our team.
And might I add, a penalty kill that is now top 3 in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been a huge part of it, right?
One of the dependables.
I would say he's still top of my list of guys I'd like to see get some opportunity. Just play the odd shift. I know right now the lines are going pretty good, so you don't want to do it, but there's been plenty of chances to move him up and see what he can do, and he just hasn't been given that.
It does really feel like he's had to pull like teeth to get Berube to even get to this point.
You know, it's almost like his slow start. Like, he wasn't very effective when he first came over. It was a big transition and all that, and that just stuck in the coach's head, and he's like, no, he doesn't have it. It's like, he does have it.
I also think that first impressions matter, and I don't know what, like, I'm not speaking that I have any knowledge on this, but in this scrum, there's a lot in questions, as you would imagine, as it's a return. But he mentioned that he had him as a rookie in Philly, like he was first coming out of junior, and he mentioned that he was a top scorer coming out of junior. And I don't know, like, I'm not saying that they didn't like each other, there's friction or whatever, but when you see that guy at first when he's a rookie,
and he was letting him down, not like what he hoped he would.
Yeah, maybe there's a little something to it.
I totally believe that's true.
Like, first impressions matter. So, and it's I don't know.
So he goes back to Philly, Sammy.
I think people have been looking for reasons all year as to why this guy
plays 11 minutes,
doesn't play more, and how they've tried literally every player in the top 6 for an extended period of time this season, pretty much except for him. Yeah. And there's some others, I mean, the Rents or whatever. But
tonight he'll once again be with Steve Lawrence and Yarncroke. And if you ever envision yourself being more of a scorer or being more involved, that's the frustrating part for him, is to come to the rink and say, you know, why can't I play with a scorer? Why can't I play with a guy that's paid to put the puck in the net?
Yeah, like, what if you tried me with McMann and Cowan, or like you're just a couple of guys who could do some things with the puck and play in the O-zone? So they're heading into Philly, and Philly's a different team than when he was there. I can see that since Briere has been there, they're starting to get more talent. Like, they tried to do it. I remember the Peltier thing. They tried to pick up a skilled guy from Calgary, but like, Zegras is there. Denver Barkey's in the lineup. Mitchkov is a guy they picked up. Like, they've even Drysdale, who won't be playing tonight, but they have more talent than they've had, almost in the Habs sort of way, just added skill.
In about 18 minutes, we'll welcome in Chris Therien, former Philadelphia Flyer, co-host of Snow the Goalie, a Flyer podcast, and he'll enlighten us on what's going on, including the latest injuries as well. Jamie Drysdale will not play tonight after a collision the other night. But in saying that, should be a warm welcome for Laughton, and you know, which begs the question too, is how much growth is there truly between now and the end of the year for him? Because I don't know if we can talk about this, or we can get into it a little later. But you know, obviously he's a UFA coming up.
Yeah.
So I think we could. I mean,
that was fine.
That was fine.
You know, you wrote your article today in the Toronto Star. The article is titled "The Maple Leafs are stuck in the middle of a crowded and unpredictable East, and a gutsy decision looms."
Yes, and basically the gist of it is, how far do you need to go before you decide whether or not to once again be all in, and the dangers of being all in is the gist of the article.
The idea
that includes not moving a guy like Scotty Laughton or Bobby McMann. Let's throw him in there in the mix too, or others, and then just going into the off season. And I don't know what that looks like. Is it after winning a round, a conference final, or missing the playoffs?
Yeah. You know, there are two courses of action, the way that this team could go. The best case scenario is you're the 2019 St. Louis Blues. You know, not very good by January 1st, but it all comes together. Everyone gets healthy at the right time. You find your stride. It all clicks at the right time. And in a weird year, maybe they do something. Then there's the other side of this where they say, maybe we're the 2019 Blues, and you don't trade some guys, and you have own rentals, which you rentaled Zach Hyman, and you can go through the laundry list of talented players.
JVR, Tyler Bozak, Jake Gardner. Yeah. Trying to think of some others off the top of my head. But
all of these guys you got no assets for, because you rented them yourself.
Tyson Barrie.
And now you're looking at, and you have it in your article, Bobby McMann, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Nick Robertson, Nick Waugh, Max Domi, Steven Lorenz, Scott Laughton, even waiver wire pickup Troy Stetcher. These are all people.
Assets.
That if you just play and lose, you could lose all of them. Well, I think RFA maybe for Waugh. For
And
Robertson.
OEL has. It's not.
Waugh has another year too, right?
Yeah, and OEL I think has another year. It's I didn't. That's not the category I had them in.
Right.
The category I had them in is that they all could bring value and quality pieces back. And if by chance, I called it an epic disaster, would be missing the playoffs and not filling the cupboards when you could have is a big miss if it does happen.
Imagine a scenario where you don't move any of these guys and you just lose them. You miss the playoffs and you hand the Boston Bruins like the 7th overall pick or something.
Yeah. That's
fun.
Yeah,
that is what you got to protect against.
Yeah, for sure. So just to go back to Scotty Laughton, here's a guy that knows he's coming up to UFA, is in the prime right now. He needs to bring his value up, and no better way to bring up his value than bringing up his minutes and then contributing a little bit more offensively. That's what he's looking at. I think there's been a level of frustration there, and whether or not he wants to slot himself into this type of role moving forward on an extended contract or not is totally up to him. The pros and cons. He's home, right? Family's here.
But does
he
like
care?
That?
Does it matter?
Does he want to be here and around all that attention? And
what would you sign him to today if you could?
So I really like Scott Laughton.
I do too.
And by the way, coming off his most ice time that he's played all season. Last game.
All
17:52.
Right. Woo wee.
Yeah.
If he wants to do, he's 31 years old. Would you give him $3 million a year for 4 years?
Yeah, I think you're in the ballpark, but maybe he thinks he could be a $4 million player somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Can the market give him 3.5, 3.7, 4? Does he stay and give them the discount for $3 million?
Mm-hmm.
Those are tough personal questions that we could never begin to answer. But I think you're in the ballpark.
I think it comes down to role, though, and what he wants. Like you guys mentioned, like
Great point,
if it's Toronto.
And are we good?
If it's Toronto,
yeah.
But like if there's a team that's maybe not, I don't know, the Leafs haven't been very good too, but I'm going to say as good, where you're going to go there and you're going to be guaranteed between 15 and 18 minutes a night as opposed to 11 that you've been getting a lot of this season.
Yeah.
You might be more willing to do that as opposed to just taking a role in a team that may not go anywhere anyway.
And he's like, is the coach who doesn't like me still there?
Yeah.
Like that might be one of his questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. A lot of this, Kip, I wrote a similar article to you the day before, but mine was basically that the Leafs are in a group of, I'll call it 15 teams who are in a similar spot right now.
Yeah.
Who could basically either say, are we in? Are we out? If you wait with everyone else, you're in trouble. Go ahead.
They're not really in the similar situation. They are optically, but really the other teams are way ahead of them because it depends on their cycle, right?
Yeah.
The Leafs are at the end of a cycle when it comes to spending assets to
that's
improve.
their unique.
It's not an even playing field right now. They have almost no tradable assets to improve, while maybe 13 other teams say, "What do you want? A first, a second? I got."
But you know what, Kip? A lot of those teams, if you're the Leafs, you want them to trade. You're like, go ahead. You're not a cup contender. Go trade something for a rental and, peter out in the first round. Go ahead.
But it's not the petering out in the first round. It's getting to the first round, meaning that I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's them getting ahead of being one of 8.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the value
that leaves
there?
the Leafs out.
I think my article danced around the idea that they're going to have to make a decision soon. And I think it's like, what's today, Jan 8th? I don't know, January 20th? You kind of have to know where you're going, one way or the other. Because if you're going to go, you got to go now.
They win tonight, they could potentially be in a playoff spot.
Yeah, and that'd be great. You have a little run here, and Nylander comes back. You mentioned Tanev may come back by the end of the year. Stolarz comes back, and all of a sudden you're going
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the carrot.
right. So that's there for you for sure. But then I think a lot of people, myself included, like, do you believe if they add a couple pieces, are they gonna?
But what does that mean? Add a couple pieces?
Well, yeah. So trade one of your goalies and get
top two, top scorer.
Trade your 2028 first round pick for Rasmus Anderson.
Yeah, I guess. That's
But
what we're talking
I've made this point
I know.
before, Sam.
But I'm just saying
is that
that's that's a piece that
Calgary goes. There's 15 other teams that could give me their first round pick now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
And you lose. Leafs lose on that.
Mhm.
They don't get to wave that around like it's got equal value to a pick this year.
I think the point I'm making is it smart to go? Like, is it you're going to win a cup? What is the goal? Are you okay with just getting in? I don't.
The answer to me has already been decided. Yeah, they're okay to just get in.
Okay.
That's I believe that right now they're all looking at ways to get in. They're not thinking about bailing. And to your point with your article, I don't know what 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now looks like.
Yeah.
But if it even looks remotely like it does today, then I don't see them bailing on Bobby McMann, for instance, who's another UFA.
But do you see them trading? Like, I know you don't think that has any value, and that's fine. But like, their remaining chips to save it. Like, do you think they'd trade Ben Danford? Do you think they'd trade their 2028 first if they're in a playoff spot? Like, because I don't really want them to, quite frankly.
I think there would be a small standing ovation, a group of people, if they said, we know this ain't it right now.
Yeah.
We need to restock the cupboards. Are you even much worse if you trade two or three of these guys who are your second, third line, or second, third pair
Bobby
guys?
McMahon's been their best player for
I
a
don't
month.
know.
He's
You
one of
watch
their best
probably
players
the
for a
World
month.
Juniors, and it's a great accomplishment by Danford to make the junior Olympic team for Canada. But is he going to be special? Is he going to be a top 3, top 4, or a third pair guy? And can you, if you move Danford, can you go replace him by signing a college kid
I don't know.
or a free agent in the summer?
Ask Books that question. I'm not
Right.
sure. But he made the he
But
made the World Junior team and played big minutes in all the games.
Danford does not have the same cachet as Cowan as a trade chip right now. There's maybe 10 teams that could sit there and go, yeah, I can see Danford as a top 4 guy, right? I don't know, Dave Savard or stay-at-home D.
Tanev,
right?
He's a Tanev.
Maybe he could be a Tanev type of player one day, but do I hold on to him when I'm trying to?
For 5 years later, when
Am I trying to win right now? And I also have to impress Austin Matthews here. He's probably not thrilled with the merry-go-round of wingers we've given him up until this point. I got to make the big guy happy here a little bit.
How about this? Can you do both? Can you do both things in the same year? I know I beat this example up a lot, but I was very impressed when Doug Armstrong traded Paul Stastny to Winnipeg in 2017, Kevin Shattenkirk to Washington in 2018, or maybe flipped those, and then in 2019 won the Cup. You strengthen your team, but you don't let assets walk out at the same time.
Yeah, I like that. I wouldn't mind that. And at the end of my article today, I did say that I think that the fan base would be okay with a couple of decisions for future assets. I think they'd be fine with it.
I'd be lying with you. I'd be lying to you if I said that I wasn't struggling with this, because
I think they are, Sam. I don't think you're alone.
I've watched the last, 7 games here, and I've looked at the rest of the Eastern Conference.
Good point.
And I've been like, they are, if they continue to stay hot here for another couple weeks and they get themselves into that playoff picture, and you talked about the guys that could potentially return. Stolarz comes back, maybe Tanev later down the road. You have McCabe and Carlo back, and the way that the forwards look.
You find yourself in the Metro, and
just
it's like, who do you not think you could beat outside Carolina?
Like the Leafs have had a ton of success against the Lightning. It's like, I don't know, I guess the Habs or the Red Wings are scared. Like, I'm having these conversations in my head being like, hold on a second.
And there is no right answer.
But at the same time, though, bud.
Right? There's
Sports.
no definitive
This is sports.
right answer. There's safe answers.
What do you think the safe answer is?
I think the safe
Sell?
answer is to pull shoot. To pull up.
Yeah,
I do. I think the safe answer is to
too.
go.
I do too.
All those guys you just mentioned, give me the best picks and prospects or whatever it is.
I'll go
And
to
we'll-
free agency.
Yeah, we'll try again next year.
2 years. 2 years, I can rebuild this.
But
You think you can rebuild it?
for the record, I'm not advocating for that because I hear what you're saying where it's not that good.
No.
And if you're finally healthy and you finally have it going and
But
Matthews looks like Matthews.
It's like
It-
maybe they
it-
get hot at the end of the year instead of ice
could
cold
be-
at the end of the year.
It could be just tweaking what the base that you already have.
Yeah.
You know, not completely blow it up. And there's a way to kind of dance around this without thinking that you have to trade Matthews or Nylander,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I mean, boy, Montour would look great on that back end, though.
I just got a scout saying I think Danford ends up a 5
Yeah.
in the NHL.
Which is fine. It's the third pair guy. And if there's a little toughness there, if there's a little sandpaper, he can certainly take over for Tanev,
Mhm.
right?
But
By the way, do not trade Easton Cowan. Whatever you do. I mean, I guess of course there's guys, but holy smokes, he is smart
Yeah.
and he works and he
Yeah.
sees it. And you see Nick Robertson suddenly get strong enough to play in the league, and you're like, give that to Cowan and see what he does.
I do think
He's a player.
I do think that for the first, you can kind of see life. I mean, not life after Matthews, but the next couple guys here that are youngish that are building blocks, and Matthew Nyes and Easton Cowan, and that as those
But
guys
you need a centerpiece, and Matthews is it still.
of course,
Right.
But those two guys are at least guys that have come up underneath the
Yeah.
first two guys
Yeah.
in 8 years that have come up underneath the core that are contributors that will be
Yes.
here for a long time. Their
Yes.
drafts have killed them. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
They've never had any cheap talent because they've traded away their late round picks, haven't really hit outside of Nyes. That's been a tough part of it.
Okay, let's pick up a little bit on Bobby McMann here because he's coming on a little bit. Let's listen to his head coach talk about his game lately.
Yeah, Bobby adds great speed, right? He gets on top of a lot of things quickly, and especially in the offensive zone with his forecheck. And, you know, Bobby, for me, looking at him, he's physical and he's going to the net a lot. So he's at the net a lot, and Max is a playmaker, right? But Max is skating right now. He's been skating really well for the last 2 weeks, and that's a difference in his game.
Do you notice any discernible difference?
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Bobby McMahon's going to go for like a 4 or 5 year deal. This is his big chance this summer,
is it. Yeah.
right? Do you look at signing him like night and day between if the Leafs are in or if they miss? Like, does it make much sense? If they miss the playoffs, does a 4-year deal for Bobby McMann make sense?
Well, yeah, I guess
He's going to turn 30.
here's what I think. I think elite players have long plateaus at the top of their career. They're good from 23 to 32 or whatever, 33. You know, that's sort of theirs. I think players who barely sneak into the NHL, like Bobby did at 26, 27, I don't think they remain elite until they're 35. So I worry about a long-term deal for a guy. This is the best he'll ever be.
Yes.
I think you're seeing it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
However, that's good. What you're seeing is very good. And if you could get it for $3 million for a few more years.
No, that's not happening.
You don't think 3x3 can get me Bobby?
No.
I do think that this is the exact same thing as the Stolarz conversation that we had, where just continue to do this. And maybe we can talk in the offseason, but if you earn enough money to get yourself out of here because
he's UFA, though.
like,
You're
that's fine.
driving the price up pretty good on yourself.
That's fine. Listen,
That is true.
but I don't.
You're right, but that's a gamble too, right?
We're having this conversation after the best 10-game stretch of his career.
Totally.
So I would have driven him to the airport after the playoffs last year where
Yes.
he didn't score a goal for a month and a half in any game, let alone like a big game.
Let alone
So
have a present.
like he was not. And listen, he's looked the best he's ever had. He's looked physical, but I'm perfectly fine with just seeing how this plays out. And if he
Yeah.
if
And
he goes,
if
he
you
goes.
miss the playoffs,
I think there's some
if
merit to that,
if
Sam.
it looks like you're going to miss the playoffs and you feel it,
But like, are you getting
trade him for a second and a
in March.
third. I think you can get 2 seconds for him maybe if he's looking like a 25
I would
goal
love
scorer,
to
50.
add him as a playoff
Right?
team. Say, give this guy 13 minutes
Oh,
on my
yeah.
third line for a cup contender.
for sure. And maybe if you go to a conference final, you can turn it into a first round.
Yeah.
do you
But
think
that's
do you think he
where
has that
he's
much
kind
value?
of he's
Hopefully the pro scouts didn't go to any playoff
He
games
looks
last
like a 25-goal scorer at about 50 points, 55 points.
Yeah.
So to me, that going rate's
He's-
$4 million right now.
Man, he's already
Right?
29.
You know, who's in L.A.? Warren Fogle.
Yeah.
Okay, would you trade him for Warren Fogle?
I need to know more about Fogle.
Similar-
Fogle's the same
similar-
guy to me. Same
similar-
guy, speed, fast,
same guy?
big. Yeah.
What's Fogle at? 3.7,
That was a really
3.75.
Comparable. Yeah, I'll tell you in
Anyway.
9 seconds. 3.5. He
Okay,
makes.
3.5, and he signed it last year.
He's 29. He's 6'2". He's 205. He's Bobby McMann.
He's
to a
Bobby
T.
McMann West.
He has
Yeah.
he has 6 goals this year.
Yeah,
One assist.
That's what you're getting next year.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Just let's pump the brakes. I mean,
But Sam, if you let
Yeah,
him go to the end of the season,
Sam,
you lose him.
Sam,
That's fine.
You don't get to look in the crystal
That's what
ball
you
and
said
see
not to
next
do.
year at 6 goals. You just go
But if they're-
market
but if they're
value.
we're talking in the parameters that they're in a playoff race and that they're keeping everybody. I'm comfortable with him just being hot and being good, and you take your chances on him having 6 tucks next year.
Yeah, I guess you find out what he wants if he's willing to.
But like I got to tell you, it's crazy pills. We're talking 4x4 for Bobby McMann. Like this guy was in the ECHL
I
2
know.
years ago. Like I'm not.
I know.
You
I
got to
know.
be careful.
But he's-
You got another Stolarz contract on your
He's
hand.
he's got
Yep.
he's got clearly another level that he's hit, and
For
it
10
has to
games, for
be
sure.
it has to be acknowledged. But yeah, that's the price of poker right now. To be in it is that you have to guess, right? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Am I playing above my? Am I swinging above my weight class here? You know, so I like him though. I like him, and I think there'd be 10 teams out there that would be willing to give him close to $4 million, if not more, on a
Yeah,
short-term deal.
You got a real decision to make on him. I think
That's too.
he's
That's too much.
He's maybe the perfect guy. If you're talking about a couple of seconds or something to sell on before he becomes
Yeah.
whatever he becomes.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
you think he's
Would
going to
you-
turn into a pumpkin?
I don't think he's going to turn into a pumpkin, but like, do you want to pay him $4 million?
I my offer is 3x3, and him and his agent are going to grind me to 3.5x4 or something, and I'm going to go. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, the Hildebeest in that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, seems like the right answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. In the last week, I've probably overthunk this.
Yeah.
So just put him in. Put Joseph Wall in. I my brain hurts when I think about the goalie situation right now.
Let's have Craig Berube clip 3 on Dennis Hildeby.
Yeah, I think, Dennis has done a great job for us. I mean, we weren't sure at the start of the season what was going to happen and where we were at, but with injuries and things like that, he's become a regular here, and his game has grown quite a bit from last year to this year.
Thank God this guy turned into this.
Yeah, that's
Because like if it was last year's version of Hildeby, like their season, I mean, hasn't really been on the rails at all this year, but it could have really gone sour
Yeah.
when Wall got hurt, and he kind of carried them there for a little bit. Could have got really
Yeah.
greasy.
If Stolarz continues to improve and he comes back in this,
When
like
is he coming back?
he's skating, I guess he's working out, so I think he's feeling as good as he has, unless there's any setback. I would assume that he's going to be able to possibly get something going before the Olympics.
Okay, so that's going to be interesting. Do you carry 3? Do you move
I
a
don't know.
guy?
Do you-
Whatever.
or no, you mean, yeah, do you move a guy, or do you tell Hildeby to go back to the Marlies?
Yes.
I mean, you do until you figure that out. If you're moving a
Try
guy,
to build Stolarz's value back up so you have an option.
maybe. Stolarz is very good, and he's.
I think there's a lot of teams that think he's very good.
He is.
It's just the scary part
God, he's
is
good when he's good, or when he's in.
can he just hang on and play the game without disappearing?
He's got like Hall of Fame numbers. He just can't stay in the net.
I think you have the waiver. You're lucky that you have your third goalie who's still waiver exempt.
Yeah.
You send him down. You finish the season with these two guys if they're both healthy, and you figure it out from there. Right?
Other thing of interest, probably.
Yeah.
The other thing of interest, you think Chris Tanev might come back this year?
I think it's still undetermined, but depending on the news that he gets visiting a doctor, I guess there's a really good one in New York that does this sort of stuff. And depending on, I think, what type of surgery that he has, my understanding is when you rip a groin, if there's parts of the bone that come with it, it's actually easier to heal.
Oh, good. I hope there's bone with it. Oh.
First Valley story than this.
Yeah.
They're not ruling it out. I don't think anybody wants to rule it out. If they do the math on hopefully a decent amount of recovery, they could sneak in a couple of games before the playoffs or be ready by the playoffs.
So, when they get to the trade deadline, there's now a playoff salary cap. They can't spend his cap hit.
Unless they are absolutely convinced that
he just can't go.
So
we should know within the next couple weeks.
I don't know. I don't know. Are the Leafs in the good mood or in the bad mood of sharing information?
They're back.
They've been unbelievable.
They've been very good.
So refreshing.
I know. We're pals again. So there's that. That was in your article that caught my eye. What else did you mention?
I don't know.
Oh, we should play Scott Laughton's clip on Konechny because they were best buds and they're playing against each other tonight.
All right, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a rat. He's a big time rat. So I'm sure he'll be chirping, but he can back it up for sure. He's a good player and really good friend. We grew very close with my time here, and he's a great human being. So he's about as big of a rat they come.
I love that.
That's true male friendship.
Yeah,
he's a rat.
He's a
great human being.
Yeah, he's a great human being, but he's as big as a rat you're going to find.
Yeah.
He's about as big of a rat they come.
Awesome.
Keep that drop. Break, we'll get to Bundy.
All right. We'll follow up all of that as the Leafs are in Philadelphia tonight, and we'll welcome in Chris Therien out of Philadelphia to help us tee it all up. And at the top of the hour as well, Mike Rupp will join us, NHL Network analyst, former National Hockey Leaguer, as we dive a little deeper in New Jersey's latest issues. That and more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne.
From the 680 News Radio.
Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Game time. Or no, not game time. That's another segment.
Game day.
Game day. All right, let's go to Philadelphia, as promised. Bundy, Chris Therien, former Philadelphia Flyer. Now co-host of Snow the Goalie. Been doing that for a little while. Bundy, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, Kipper. How's everything?
Yeah, we're good. We're excited about the game tonight. Toronto and Philly. Man, you guys were just sperm back then, but mid-70s, my favorite. Broad Street Bullies versus Sittler, Tiger Williams, Brian Glennie.
Very unfun to me.
Brian Glennie, Don Selesky. Can we ever bring those type of games back, Bundy?
No, they're gone forever, Kipper.
How are things there? Over the last few years, we've had Briere on a few times. The patience, we got to get this back to respectability. It's on its way in Philly, Bundy.
It is, guys. Yeah, there's been a lot of good that's gone on this year. I think Briere really made a lot of great moves, coming into the season that he made in the offseason. Of course, getting Zegras and Vladar with the two frontal moves of that really elevated this team. But they've done some great stuff this year, guys, and they've really, really elevated their play. They have 5 more wins at this point right now than they did at this point last year. So they've really climbed the standings, and they continue to play good hockey.
They might have the most interesting roster of names for us to ask you about. So I'm just going to start with the one that's been in the news most lately, Trevor Zegras. We had some things to say about his post-game interview and his post-goal celebration and stuff yesterday, but he's an interesting kid, dynamic, talented as heck. Tell us your impressions about his time in Philly so far.
Yeah, he came in here, obviously, I think kind of humbled, from the trade in the summer. It looks, because when you look at it, for a guy that has that skill set, he ended up getting traded for a second rounder. And the guy in Anaheim, I've slipped his name right now, but he, so it was a humbling move, I think, for him to have to absorb and then come into the season and have to restart his career, essentially. But he got the chance. He's made the most of it. He's got a real flair, too. He's added a little bit of some pizzazz to this team, if you will, both on and off the ice, and I think they sorely needed that. So I think he's really been an intriguing player to get, and probably heading down the road to a long-term contract with the Flyers.
It has been work, though, for Rick Tocchet in terms of just, I think, bringing Trevor Zegras. And listen, I mean, I get it. He's a passionate guy. He had a big game against his former club. We've all done that. We've all been traded against teams, and we would dearly love to go on a microphone and talk about it publicly, but we tend not to. I think he got caught up in it a little bit, but you can get a sense of just the challenges of making or turning this guy into a mature player.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. And, I know he was pretty exuberant about the goal the other night, both the goals, and he had quite a celebration and quite a post-game interview. But, I think that also, like I said, it kind of adds a little bit of flair to what this team needed. It needed a little bit of oomph to it, to kind of to show their pop this year. And I think he's provided that. He's really come out into the forefront as a guy the Flyers really like. He's a point per game player. And he's had a chance to kind of rejuvenate himself. But, everything he's done this year, guys, has been professional, and he's really, really done a good job leading offensively on this Flyers team.
All right, next up on the list, Travis Sanheim makes Team Canada again. I would say he's the name that Canadian hockey fans know the least about in terms of what he does, who he is. I think people were surprised when he made 4 Nations. Has he looked as good as last year? What are your impressions of Sanheim?
I think he's come a long way. It took him a long time to get where he's at. They were very patient with him. I know they had a trade set up a few years ago with St. Louis that didn't go through, but since that time, he's really turned a corner. And he gets up the ice. He defends pretty well. He moves the puck efficiently. He's a great skater. That's really his forte. If someone said, what does he do better than anything else? It's his skating, his ability to skate. get up and down the ice when he can. But yeah, he's a guy that you don't hear a lot about. There's other big, sexier names out there on defense, but I think he's a guy that can provide that really good skating in that Olympic tournament. He defends pretty well and has really come a long, long way in the last 3 years.
You're listening to Chris Therien, former Philadelphia Flyer, covering the Philadelphia Flyers. Snow the Goalie is the Flyer podcast. Bundy, just in terms of now where the expectations are on this Philadelphia Flyer organization, we see them challenging in playoff positions. And will this speed anything up in terms of Daniel Briere and Keith Jones? Are they still on the, hey, this is great, but let's not get ahead of ourselves? It just seems, and we talked about this earlier in our podcast, that, there's this big pit of 15, 20 teams, and it's like, not why we can't win the Stanley Cup, but tell me why not, right?
Right. And I think that's really where they're at. I think, both guys are very pleased with the season this team has had. They've made leaps and bounds in terms of the strides that they've made. But in terms of what these guys are going to do, if there's anything they're going to do to try to make the team even better at the trade deadline, I know Danny Briere said the other night that they're going to probably just sit tight for now, and it may be posturing. It could be, but I really think that the Flyers have themselves in a position right now where they're going to have to fail epically to not make the playoffs. They haven't lost 2 games in a row in regular. They one time all year. Excuse me, guys. It was a Toronto and Calgary game back in the fall. But they haven't. That's been an unbelievable type of thing for the Flyers to have happen, to not lose those consecutive games, and they've done a great job of that. So there's a lot of positive that have gone on for this team, and I think that where this group is at right now, what they wanted at the beginning of the year was a chance to make the playoffs and give guys an opportunity to see what the playoff atmosphere in Philadelphia will be like. So right now that trajectory is good. Things are looking good, but they're going to have to keep playing good hockey. I will say this, guys, there's a lot of players mentioned on the team this year that have elevated their play. But I don't think the Flyers would be where they are right now without Dan Vladar. He has been the runaway MVP for me in my eyes when I see him nightly. He's been absolutely spectacular. And he's given the Flyers chances in games where they didn't have a lot going, made some multiple saves. He's made multiple big saves this year, and he's given the Flyers a chance to win a lot of those games that they maybe shouldn't have won without solid goaltending.
That's a great note for us, because that's not something that I was aware that it was, such a positive influence. We are more aware of some of the bigger names, obviously the big draft pick there, Matvei Michkov. How about his sophomore season there, Bundy? What are your thoughts on how he's been?
He was hurt the other night, so I think he's back in the lineup tonight against the Leafs. But he didn't have a great start. He came into camp. He was not in the kind of shape they wanted him to be in. It took him some time to kind of come around a little bit. He's got one empty net goal, I think, in his last dozen games, I think, in and around that. But he's played better. I think, when he moves his feet and he activates himself in the offensive zone, I think he's a good player. He's not a fleet of feet. He's not a Pavel Bure type of player where he's going to wow you with his speed at all. That's not the kind of player he is. He's a small space operator that makes quick plays, can shoot the puck on a dime. And that's what they're looking for. They're going to need better production from him as they move forward, and as he moves forward in his career, both at even strength and especially on the power play. Flyers power play has kind of fallen off a cliff in the last month and a half or so, and they need those extra goals from guys like Michkov to help that power play.
Injury bug, Bobby Brink, and on the back end, Jamie Drysdale. How's his progression come the last little while, and what does it mean to have him out of the lineup?
Yeah, Drysdale's been really good. He's really come a long way since the day he got here in Philadelphia. He came in, he was not unsure of himself. He wasn't a great defender. He wasn't making the kind of offensive plays that warranted the trade that what we thought we were getting at the time. And Brad Shaw last year really did a lot of really good things with him to try to revive him and find him a niche in the NHL that he's going to be happy with and playing. And I think this year he's defended well. I always said, always for smaller guys defending, I didn't tell him this, but I always looked to a guy like Duncan Keith, how he used to defend with his stick without, having to kill guys all the time, because he's not a big guy. So I think he's done a much, much better job both with defensive responsibilities and moving the puck and making good plays in the offensive zone. He's come leaps and bounds from when he got here.
You know, we're inside our Leafs hour here, so we're going to keep asking about some interesting names. The leafiest one is probably Nikita Grabenkin. Not many markets where you're going to get asked about him, but break our hearts. Has he been good?
I'm gonna break your heart even worse. I cannot believe Toronto traded for Scott Laughton and gave a first-round pick and Grabenkin. Like,
oh, jeez.
That is an absolutely it ended up becoming a great trade, I think, for the Flyers. You know, as long as the Leafs, they're winning, they're playing much better right now. But in terms of getting Grabenkin as well, like, I think this kid has a really good future. We're doing a lot of work with him in the neutral zone right now to try to improve his positioning and a little bit more of his knowledge at the NHL level. But I mean, he appears to be a great find for this Flyers team. And when you look at him as kind of a throw-in on top of a first rounder for a player at the deadline last year, it's been just another really good move by Danny Briere.
Bundy, I got to get our
sorry to break your heart, guys.
I got to get our Sammy off the floor, sucking his thumb right now.
At least Minton's no good.
Let's switch gears. Tell us, about Scotty Laughton coming back for the first time and how much he's been missed.
Yeah, great guy here. I love Scotty Laughton, just a solid person and a good hockey player too. And it'll be exciting to see him come back tonight. He didn't play back in the fall; he was injured, and I'm sure they'll have a nice reception for him in Philadelphia tonight. And we know what he brings to the table. What a valuable guy he is in the locker room and the things he does on the ice. So there's a lot of guys that I would tell you still miss Scotty Laughton, and rightly so. He was a really big part of this city, this team, and that locker room for 10, 11 years.
So as we talk about the Flyers turning things around, how much credit goes to Rick Tocchet? How much has he changed the culture for that team there?
Well, he structurally put a defensive system in that the players can follow. He's really done a good job. Like, the Flyers really do a good job keeping stuff to the perimeter. They do a good job in the offensive zone, cutting down on their forecheck, whether it's a 2-1-2 or whether they go into a 1-2-2. But he's really, really assimilated the players to understanding the defensive side of things and being in position. I think he's done a really, really good job with this Flyers team this year, because they came in and they had to change the system from where Torts was last year in that group and what he wanted and to evaluate the personnel on the team to see what best style suits them. And they've responded. They've responded almost every night this year to at least give themselves a chance to win most hockey games they played in. And I do believe that's because of the structure that Rick Tocchet put in place.
Buddy, great stuff, man. Enjoy the game tonight. Always appreciate your time on our show, pal.
Anytime, guys. Great to be on. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is Chris Therien, former Philadelphia Flyer, and now doing some broadcasting work down there, including Snow the Goalie, a Flyer podcast.
The last time the Leafs played in Philadelphia, they won in regulation. Do you know what else happened that night?
Yeah, that was a Blue Jay.
It was Game 7 of the World Series.
Oh no, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw.
I don't remember the highlights of that game. Unfortunately, I didn't
That was 10 of being stretchered off.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching the World Series. I'm at the game.
Yeah.
And then somebody showed me their phone.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I'm like, oh, this is no
memories.
Tough night.
Okay,
Tough night.
that
At least one.
Honestly, I was not expecting like Bundy to punch Sam in the gut with Grabenkin there.
We were pre-show was just talking about those deadline moves, which we were saying last year you couldn't have been as close as you were and not added players, but that it was a first and it was a first and the other way. Those ands are, God, like if you just had Grabenkin and Minton today, you'd feel pretty good about direction. A couple of young guys, some grit.
The one thing, like you could see how raw Grabenkin was. Totally. And I'm sure they're going through it right now with Philly where you're like, oh my God, this guy's just like this giant baby,
through their fans,
right?
Yeah.
But on top of that, you had this infectious personality where it's kind of rare where a guy can come in and media could kind of gravitate to him a little bit, and he's
don't stop, don't relax. You play NHL, you understand.
Wonderful drop in, because that's what I'm talking about. Where it's like you can't wipe a smile off of his face, and I was kind of looking forward to having that type of guy on this roster on a daily basis, where you could just go, okay.
Oh, you'd have gotten sick of him.
No. I don't think I would have gotten sick of him. I think I think a lot of people would have enjoyed that.
Sure.
That raw.
So the
Like,
Leafs were supposed
emotion.
The Leafs were supposed to go into the playoffs with Max Domi as their third line center and Phil Myers as their top right-hand shot defenseman.
No, they had to do something.
They had to do it. It was their best chance to make the finals, and they took the Florida Panthers further than any other team took them. They had to do it.
It was always a situation where
and it's
if
gonna
you
look
didn't
bad.
win, it was going to look bad. That was the risk they knew they were making. So
Yeah.
they didn't win.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
It's the exact same conversation. So you'd rather have Grabankin for 5 years from now when he's good, or would you rather have a chance to beat the damn Florida Panthers?
It
sucks.
I don't want to sit here and
I hate the Carlo trade. I hate it.
I don't want to.
You had to make
It's
it.
not my intention to sit here and in my armchair quarterback Monday position here on Brad Treliving's moves here, but both those trades for Laughton and Carlo were like late minute, last minute decisions.
Sure.
Like he was chasing other players.
Because of Randon.
And those were I know I can get them. And the key in all of this is don't leave yourself that close to the buzzer and then be at the mercy of, to Sam's point, well, I got to do it because it looks bad if I don't.
Well, this is kind of the downside of the whole reputation of being on everything and then things don't happen. And why part of the reason I wrote my article, you kind of got to do it now to see the gains and while people are available and while there's not a pile of sellers, like things need to happen sooner than later. Otherwise, you're shopping on Christmas Eve, and when you go to the store and they only have this one expensive thing, you're like, I have to get it because there's nothing else. You got to be a little proactive, and they weren't. I agreed at the time, though, that I said that, like, look, these are players who make sense to me because I thought Laughton would have a bigger role than he was given, and Carlo was fine. He was fine, but I thought he could be more effective. So those guys, it would make things a lot more palatable if both those guys were playing at a level that was expected.
All right, we got to go. What was that?
From the 680 News Radio Center.
All right, time to kick it up a notch on the national hour of the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet. Always watch, always listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. In about 25, 30 minutes, we're going to welcome in Mike Rupp, NHL analyst for NHL Network, former National Hockey Leaguer, Stanley Cup champion. We got to get into this whole, like, what the heck is going on with the New Jersey Devils? We saw them back here about a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't very impressed with them. Mm-hmm. I actually said at the time I thought they were the worst team in the league.
Where did you say that on TV? Or where did you say
I did, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I did. Well, and not the standings showed it,
just
or not even suggesting that they were definitively the worst, but they just played like it that night against the Leafs. But the 9-0 shutout and what's going on with Luke Hughes, we figure, like, why not ask Mike Rupp, because he'd have a real good pulse on it.
It's actually very funny after all that conversation. Check the standings, and they're 1 point behind the Leafs.
Yeah.
It's like as bad as they've been.
So I used to do this thing on Sportsnet Today with my buddy Rob Wong. This is back in the day. Rob Wong, he works for, I think he works for Post Media now, if I'm right.
Shout out, Robbo.
We used to do this thing called Sports Would You Rathers.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I could change that and bring that here and call NHL Would You Rathers.
Love it.
But before we get to that, did you guys want to see the up-to-date Milan Cortina rink?
Yeah, people need an update. So, we are how long? We're about a month away.
So the first game is February 12th against the Czechs.
But that's the men's. The women play.
So it's less than a month.
6th. Wasn't it the 6th for the women?
Yeah, less than a month.
So less than a month. Let's do a couple of check-ins. Sam, you walk us through this.
So I reached out to this guy that was sending some videos. They're doing a pre-Olympic tournament there tomorrow.
Breaking the ice.
I guess they're trying it out. They're trying out the ice to make sure it's frozen.
Oh, yeah, you need someone to be like, hey, this
it's frozen.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. So I reached out to him and I asked him, like, if I could use the video, and he said he'll talk to me tomorrow after they play on the ice or whatever. But I asked him if we could use it, and this is a video of what the rink looks like right now.
So dusty glass. The glass just needs.
If you're watching on Sportsnet Plus or Sportsnet or wherever you're watching,
the giant clock's in.
You got the jumbotron down. So the ice and boards look okay.
A lot of wires hanging for my liking.
Well, listen, I've seen like nine workers with their working vests on.
I would have preferred to see 90.
Throw a couple more guys in there.
9's good, but 90 would be nice.
So when you see that video, what are your initial thoughts, gentlemen?
They're going to play there. That's functional hockey rink. There's seats, there's ice, there's glass. They'll figure out the rest.
I think what we saw there is, to your point, is going to be enough to get it done. I think behind the scenes, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a complete dog and pony show.
Yes.
Like, the whole, was it in Sochi where you like go to the grocery stores and like in the window they have like pictures of fruit and stuff, but you go in and it's just desolate? That's this. Like, go under those bleachers and see the rest of the building, and I bet it's...
See, the one thing you got to remember too is that...
Kyper, what's the name of the rink on like in your neck of the woods on Chaplin Arena? Is it
North Toronto?
No, Forest Hill
Forest Hill Arena.
That's what that size of that rink looks like. Forest Hill Arena looks like a 3-on-3 rink from that end.
There's a lot of seats.
And that's a great little rink there.
I love that bar.
Right,
it's better than this bar.
They should host the Olympics.
100%. I love that
Arena.
bar. I've played there forever.
See, the one thing you got to remember too is this is like just not the players. This is an extension. This is one of the biggest moments of their lives. There's family. There's parents.
There's gonna be bodies.
They're gonna go over there, and I guarantee you, the families. It'll be a nightmare for the families.
Yeah, no one's thinking about that. They're trying to put a hockey game on.
Yeah,
they're gonna go and they're gonna look at their tickets, and they're gonna look, and there's gonna be no seat to match their ticket.
Here's my thing.
That's the type of crap that could go on.
It's one thing, though, to have someone, like a repair job at your house, not happen immediately or something. That's understandable. How does this happen? How do you get here where you're hammering nails trying to beat the drop of the puck?
That's a great question.
Who's to blame? This is ridiculous. And Sam, don't you have another?
Okay, so that looked passable. Would you like to see a photo of the locker room from the same guy?
I've seen it. Put it up.
Oh, that looks a little less done.
Like, by the time you even get stalls in there, like, are the hinges going to arrive? Are the hooks going to be there?
Can we mix in, like, could there be a
Carpet?
bench laying on the ground that's ready to be installed?
Like, this is going to be like Mullet Arena when the Coyotes were playing there before it was built.
Shout out my boy Gunner again. He texts me and says, this makes Mullet look like MSG.
No kidding. These guys are going to need to wear like skate guards with the wheels and roll themselves in from off-site rooms.
I had forgotten about Mullet.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the visitors
This
were
is worse
folding
than
chairs?
Mullet.
Can you imagine like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, showing those pictures of that Mullet Arena and then
It's a great
and
shape.
then people going,
Us all.
oh my God, I can't believe they had to dress like that in the 60s. It's like, no, that was like 2024.
We should actually go through it, but I'm sure there was a guy or two who their only NHL games in career were there. Like, they made the NHL. They accomplished it. One of the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
And people were like, here you go, Mullet Arena. Welcome to the Olympics. This is your...
Storage locker time.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, there's a chance we're all dead wrong. Everything could go perfectly, and it could look like, some gilded castle.
I don't know
by
what
the time
movie I
they
was
get
watching, but it's like the line was, that would be a neat trick.
oh,
That's well put.
but like,
Pull it off.
They gotta have-
Prove me wrong.
I mean, when you go to an arena and you spend what's it going to cost to go to a gold medal game there? 3,000 euros. Like, you would like to be able to buy a beverage
Right.
and get something to eat. Like, is that going to be done?
Gelato for all.
Gelato.
You
Anyway.
just scoop the ice.
Bring
It's actually
in,
gelato.
bring in the Peronis.
Listen, this is old school back. Get dressed on the bus and go play.
What was
Yeah.
it like in Sochi, though?
The
Wasn't it
kids-
kind of
boys just
sketchy
wanna
in
play.
Wasn't it kind of sketchy
I
in
think it
Sochi
was.
too?
No, not in Russia. Everything's
Yeah.
rock solid there.
It's true. All right. I'm debuting a new segment. Every time I do one of these, I get a little nervous. Okay, so this is it's not a debut, but it's a
your hit
debut
rate
here.
is
You just get
very high.
nervous.
You're
I do.
Ernie Clement in the
Okay.
playoffs.
Thank
with
you.
The hit rate here.
All right. So let's start with this one. I'm just coming right out of the gates, super hot. If you were starting an NHL franchise, would you rather start with Macklin Celebrini or Matthew Schaefer?
God, that's too good to start. Too good, too hard. I got it. Macklin Celebrini. And now my Islanders brethren, just bear with me on this one a little bit. You watch him last night. I know
Yeah.
how good Schaefer's
Yeah.
been this year. I think there's a chance that this guy is, not Mount Rushmore maybe, but top 10 all time at the end of his career. He is unbelievable. I think Schaefer,
Oh my God.
yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with the
my
answer. But like that was to tie the game up in the final minute.
And then set up the winner in overtime.
I like where you're going with a centerpiece like that for sure, and the marketing and all of that. I believe that I can win a championship faster with Schaefer
as your 1D.
as my 1D.
Golly.
And I will build off of the back end first. I also like the fact that it's easier for my guy to play 25 minutes tonight than it is your guy.
Ooh, good one. Look at this play. Gets caught up in the line. He
Yeah.
skates, doesn't even care. Last second, shoulders to the net pass.
I saw somebody break down that in super slow-mo, and they were saying that he made it look like he was going to do a no-look shot because he
Totally.
opened his blade, and then he
Totally.
fired it across.
It's actually, he's so many moves ahead of the
Yes.
goalie that he's like, he makes it look like he's faking pass to shoot.
You'd be ridiculous to try to
show
guess.
pass, show pass, show
Yeah,
pass.
You
and then
gotta
actually
you
pass.
gotta play the shot.
Yeah.
You'd look ridiculous if you guessed wrong.
Look at his eyes. Show he's
Bang.
he's selling it like he's going to do a fake. And
Crazy.
just- yeah.
He almost missed that.
Well,
Tapping.
Kemper got a piece and went up under the bar. He didn't actually put that clean on.
So, Celebrini, Schaefer.
God, I got to
Yes.
be honest. Like,
Favorite.
only because you have to pick or you're
Yeah.
a coward.
Yeah,
But
would you rather? Yeah.
I'll take Celebrini, I guess.
Me too.
No.
Me too, Justin.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of piggybacking off that, would you rather have the Sharks' future or the Habs' future?
Sharks. The only thing that I like that the Habs have is Lane Hudson. I like a lot of what they have, but they have a D man. Who's the D for the Sharks? They don't quite have that. But I really like
Sam Dickinson's supposed to be their guy coming up.
Yeah.
He's the London Knights guy. He's young. He's playing now.
I
but
like Askarov and net a lot.
Yeah.
I know Fowler's supposed to be very good, but the Celebrini is still so different to me, and Will Smith. And I feel like the
And
upside
you
of their young
Nick,
guys is so high.
You love Nick Suzuki, but high end, you got to go Celebrini.
Suzuki's your 1C. I think they have Oliver Kapanen pegged to be their 2C for the foreseeable future, and that those are both very good players. I just don't think the ceilings are as high as the Sharks.
And I don't know. I mean,
Habs are good now, and they're
Hudson
still so young.
is Hudson right in there now, just underneath Makar and Quinn, or
it's funny he didn't get picked as one of the 8 best American defensemen.
Is the lack of defense or size to defend? Because he doesn't appear anywhere near as strong as
I'm blown away by the discourse
as the other
from
guys.
Sorry, Habs fans, and I know we don't talk about the Habs enough, so people will be mad at me. But like, how are they mad that Hudson didn't make the American Olympic team? Have you seen their decor?
And the guys he's behind on his side are
he will be there.
Yeah,
he will be there.
Isn't he behind Slavin, Hughes,
and one other,
and Werenski?
Yeah,
it's like, who is he going to bump there?
I'm blown away by the response. Yeah, he's good. And he'll be fine. Like we think your guy's good, but those guys are much better.
He's
unfortunately
playing for game D in his season. He's unbelievable.
So if you're a general manager, would you rather have John Cooper or Paul Maurice as your head coach?
I'm big Coop guy. Although his recent involvement in all social media things, I don't know about. I need him just to coach the Lightning.
What is going on there?
Well, I'm a big fan. One of my favorite people in sports media to follow is Frankie Borelli, big Islanders guy, big golf guy. He's everything. I think we should be best friends. But, I see Coop is involved with some bets with him, name dropping him post game. I saw Biz has got him on a FaceTime today, showing him. It's like, Coop, what are you just? I want you to be Al Arbor. I want him to coach, but I do like his personality, and they've had so much success. I'm a huge John Cooper.
I like them both. I could pick Paul Maurice easy. Just go back to that rant, on his team just prior to them making the playoffs and then going to the final.
Love him.
So I'm good. I mean, to me, that one's right up there with Betty or Veronica,
You're not going to go wrong either way?
Yeah, you can't go wrong either way.
Were you going to answer Betty or Veronica?
I'd choose hell. No, I would take Maurice.
Really?
I would, yeah. I think, I don't want to get too much into it, but I think Cooper, I think they both kind of do the same thing. I think they both read their press clippings a lot, but I think Maurice does less.
It's okay.
It's okay.
They're both those guys are really good for the game.
They're Hall of Famers.
Okay,
sure. Yep.
They're entertaining. They don't take themselves too seriously, and they let it rip every once in a while. It's fine.
Here's a longer term one. Would you rather have Sid or Ovi's career?
So I don't think this is particularly close.
You don't?
No,
I'm
think
Team
so
Sid by a good distance.
More
It's
championships.
3 cups to 1.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to finish
gold medals.
top 5 gold medals, top 5 all-time
But
points.
is the most incredible stat that you could possibly hold be the all-time goal-scoring leader in the history of the
we
National
discussed
Hockey
today the most impressive stat is 502 consecutive starts
Glenn
by
Hall.
Glenn Hall.
R.I.P. Yeah, that's definitely up there.
Yeah.
But
Great man, too.
And Gretz's all-time points.
Yeah, Gretz's all-time points.
so there's
But-
no conversation.
Here's the conversation. In my opinion, no. But what puts Sid's over the top is the reverence people have for the man, the respect, the work ethic, the class. Not that Ovi's not a good guy. Don't really want Putin in his avatar. It's not as awesome for me. I just think everyone to a man has bowed down.
Sid doesn't
to
even have
Sid.
social media, so
Yeah,
he doesn't even have
the way we like it.
He doesn't even have an Instagrams, whatever those kids call them. No
And
TikToks.
it did take Ovi a while, where maybe from the get-go of Crosby's career, where maybe, and I don't know, maybe you pointed this out, that, at times didn't handle non-calls against him very well,
It's competitive.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, early Sid was the biggest crybaby in the world.
But to me, that's more
That
of
was
a,
Wayne's rep, too.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's just a matter of a really good young players coming in and feeling themselves out, and just a natural maturation.
Yep.
And that's fine. Whereas Ovi kind of battled a little bit, and I don't know if you remember, it was a big deal about him skipping Ottawa All-Star game. Like, that was a big deal that rubbed a lot of people off the wrong way. And then he went to Florida instead.
Yeah.
And
didn't he go skate? Wasn't he skating somewhere like in like Montana?
There was also like defensive warts, and there was just stuff that people
just a little bit. And then obviously it worked into a championship, and all the perception on Ovi went to another level after that championship. It just, Sid's was a lot more, to your point. Squeaky clean.
Go ahead.
Is there a record you'd rather hold than, like, if you're not talking about team championships or like team awards, but as an individual, there's no better, like, points
NHL
is one
goals,
thing.
Yeah.
NHL goals is the number one thing you'd want to have.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable. He's got 915
you think
goals.
more cooler than points?
No, I think
Definitely.
points.
I think
It's
points, too.
points.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, shooting it in the net is why you play the game, no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Big team guys over here. Sorry, fellas. All right.
There's shooting it in the net, and then there's sharing it.
So
It's a double whammy against just shooting it in the net.
these next two are Zsa Gabors. So we gotta give him a shout out here. Would you rather start a franchise with Matthew and Brady Tkachuk or Jack and Quinn Hughes?
God, that's good. I guess the question is,
Would you rather have Quinn Hughes?
Well, is anyone? God,
I'll take the Maniacs.
That is my initial thing is a no-brainer. Take the competitive playoff style.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes is a freak.
He's maybe the
He's
best
a
player in the league.
freak of
He's
nature.
so good.
Jack
Yeah.
Hughes.
Okay, you convinced me. If I went Schaefer, I got to take the defenseman.
Yeah.
But
I got
imagine,
to take the
And
defenseman.
Jack Hughes, when he's going, is 100
Yeah.
point.
but imagine having Matthew and Brady on your top line.
Yeah.
They're not too happy about Brady in Ottawa.
No, there's some rumblings. There's some Matthews-esque rumblings coming out of Ottawa.
There's
In
some,
what
yeah.
way?
Well, just they're losing, and he's not playing particularly well. And I don't know, last night against Utah, I think he might have been -2, and lost his check on one of the goals, and he just hasn't come back since his injury and kind of taken over a little bit now.
We should probably at least put a marker down that we have noted that things are bad in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Like, things aren't going well for a very good team. They were supposed to be good playoff team last year. You're supposed to take a stride, and their goaltender is gone, but he went to the game.
A lot of their numbers are up around the better teams.
Yeah, they're all my fancy stuff. It's like, geez,
Yes.
this is a pretty good hockey team that
It is.
can't get a break. But
No,
they're-
can't get a save.
Can't get a save. Something's just, I don't know.
But that's been their issue for a lot of years. They've kind of become the new Flyers where they can't have a goalie.
Like, the team in the positive quadrant of like expected goals for and expected goal, good at both, is like them, Colorado, Tampa, Carolina, Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, like they're in.
You know what is starting to kind of percolate a little bit too out of Ottawa? Not too happy with the podcasting part.
What do you mean? Oh, Matthew and Brady?
Brady. Just Brady.
Yeah.
Just, whether or not that's, I don't know, a bit of a side thing that, is it necessary? Is it kind of, it's just a question. That's all. Is it a distraction?
The risk of the podcast is this happens when you're not winning. Because if you're Travis
Yes.
Kelce and you got championship rings on while you're doing the show.
Everything is around winning. Bull Durham. You win, you got fungus on your shoes, you're colorful.
Yeah.
You lose, you have fungus on your flip-flops, you're a slob.
Yeah.
I would just like to congratulate the Ottawa Senators core that is, I've been told by their fans, is way better than the Leafs for reaching 90 points once ever last year. I'd like to congratulate that on them. It's an incredible accomplishment for the Senators.
Oh, boy.
One last one, another Zsa Gabor. Would you rather expand the amount of playoff teams with a play-in style like the NBA or shrink the amount of playoff teams?
Well, no brainer for me, because I do think they should expand it.
Am I a fan or am I an owner?
Fan.
Fan, you want less teams? To me, it's like you got
Less teams.
14 teams that are the same. Might as well let them fight each other for a bonus game or two and let someone
I'm
in.
sorry. My interpretation of less teams is like we cut like
Out of the league.
Out of the league.
That I can have that conversation.
As a fan, that would drive the level of play and competition up, right?
Am I hearing things?
No, I don't know what that drop was. Sorry.
I didn't hear the drop.
Okay, sorry, DB. I was going
But yeah, listen, you want to make money? Put 20 teams in.
But
Please
like
God,
last
don't
year,
play in.
well,
Please God,
why?
don't play in.
Last year at 96 points, the Calgary Flames tied. Who was it? Who got it?
Too bad.
96
Win one
points.
more game.
Yeah, okay. Or just you got the same amount of points. Play each other for a game. Everyone gets a cheer. We sell another gate. Everyone gets a day off for the playoffs. Go ahead. Go play another game. And then more.
In many ways,
Sure.
with over half the game or half the season done and so many teams in it, we're like in a play in right now.
It does, yeah. It's an extended play.
It is. It is an extended.
Can I just ask you this very simple question?
Sure.
Is 82 not enough
Well, we're
to determine? Like, it's like, wow, we
It's
played
funny.
82. Let's play 84 to determine. Well, we're going to do that next year.
I was going to say, it's very funny that people are like, well, you don't want to play more games for the injuries. And then everyone's like, yeah, 84 games. Let's do that. Just
Crap.
attack 2-1 for everyone.
Wait till we see the final rosters at the Olympics. We could still be looking at it going, oh my God, I can't believe he's on the team.
Troy Stetcher might get in yet.
God, you beat me to it. Golly, you got
Troy's
me.
boys.
We can break and then do Rupper, and we'll do game time after Rupper.
All right.
What'd you think? Would you rather? Good?
Very good.
Loved it.
Good job.
Sammy.
Good job,
Loved
Josh.
it. Yeah,
job.
yeah. And
Good
our good pal
Just call him
Ethan.
Shaw, just one.
Ethan
Shaw Rule.
Gabor
I'm going to call him
leading
Shaw
the
Rule
charge.
from now on.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we return, NHL Network analyst Mike Rupp after these words. Welcome back to the program. Real Kyper Bourne Show, National Edition. Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, and Ethan Jaja. Gabor.
Ja Rule.
Now we got the Rupper joining us now. Mike Rupp.
A little close there. A little close shot there.
How are you, buddy?
Wow. How you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. Where are you these days?
I'm at NHL Network right now. So, yeah.
Good.
Just in New Jersey here, getting ready to do a show. So.
Well, that's why we went out and got the very best here to give us a closer look at what the heck, Rupper, is going on with the New Jersey Devils. You're in that area, right? That famous little New York circle with the Devils, the Islanders, and the Rangers here. If we would have said at the beginning of the year which team of those three I just mentioned to you would be sitting probably at the top and ready to really challenge for a Stanley Cup, we would have probably said New Jersey. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, if you pick whatever date you want to go back, I don't know, 2 months, maybe not even that long. There's an argument there that New Jersey might be the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. And now you're sitting here looking at this team and it's not that. It's things have kind of dropped off. And I think the big thing too is that this has happened before, and it happened last year. I mean, it was literally the Christmas break. The floor just got taken right out from under the team. And it's just tough because you're starting to see these same things rear their ugly head. And I think the fan base is frustrated. I just wonder sometimes, and it's hard because I do think this is a really good hockey team. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever categorized them as a quote unquote contender yet. It'd be too early to do that. But I also think that 22-23 season where they kind of came out of nowhere and they had that playoff performance where they end up beating the New York Rangers and that in that first round, I think it kind of set this trajectory of what this team was going to be in the coming years, and they just simply haven't been that. So yeah, it kind of feels like the real nitty gritty every game right now. Like tonight, they got puck drop in Pittsburgh, and I don't know. I got no inside information on anything, but my spidey senses telling me this is a big game here. Like something goes sideways here tonight. I think there could be some big things happening.
Can I just follow it up on? Could that include changes in management, coaches? All bets are off when you talk about what could come down on another tough loss.
I mean, I honestly, I have no idea where there is or if there is certainty as far as jobs being held still. I don't know if that's, I mean, I certainly am not calling for anybody's job. I think this is a team that's, they're in a tough spot right now. They can't, because here's where they're at. And you guys both know this and been around the game a long time. When you're in that mode of waiting for something to happen, it's such a bad place to be, where you're sitting there, whether it's, and this team's done this, where, all right, we're waiting for some guys to get back from injury. Oh, we feel like a trade's about to happen. I mean, geez, that Quinn Hughes stuff, when that stuff started heating up and then that doesn't happen. Is there going to be some bigger change like you just kind of mentioned? You sit there as a player, and I think when you're in those moments, you get stagnant. And you're waiting around, and this team seems very fragile. They're waiting around, but then when you look at the way that it's been well documented, the no movement clauses on this team, they're number one in the NHL with them. It's not easy just to go make a move. Like, you're almost going to have to see a move happen that's going to be the precursor for another move, and we haven't seen that. So I don't know what it means, Kyper. It could be all of the above. I just think we're at a breaking point here, and something's got to get. But on that same note, I played in my last year, and one of my last couple of years in the NHL, I was playing in Minnesota. And I'll just share this quick little story because you've probably got something similar in some ways. And I remember being in Minnesota, and we had on very good merit that we had a game against the Buffalo Sabres. And if we did not win that game, that it was scorched earth. and the coach was going to get fired and all that stuff. And that coach at the time was Mike Yeo. It was a really weird situation. Like, it's like everybody knew it, everybody felt it. We talked about it. We went out, we actually won the game. I think Mike Yeo was there for like another 2 years. So that's how quick this stuff can change, right? Like, they go into Pittsburgh tonight, they win, maybe just hold on a second, and then all of a sudden it turns into 2. And then all of a sudden, these things, it doesn't mean it's inevitable, it's going to happen, but I feel like we're at a breaking point for something to give right now.
Mike, I wonder if there's any grace given for a couple of very complicating, challenging factors for them. I think they're near the top of the league in injuries this year. They haven't had a lot of their team, and Jack Hughes has not found his way since his return. And also, I have them at third hardest schedule to date. Tough schedule, a lot of injuries. Like, I can see a world where they get healthy, the schedule gets easier, and they kind of get the ball rolling a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's the injuries have certainly been an issue, but it's just, this is a team it's had that same thing for, this is like year 3 now,
right?
With the injuries, and at some point here, and I think it's kind of the frustrating nature of some of them too, some of the injuries. And obviously missing Jack. I mean, Jack this year at the beginning of the season, I thought very early on, but he was playing at like a Hart Trophy caliber. I mean, he was incredible early on in the season. And he's just simply, to be frank, he's not himself right now. He's not healthy. Still has not taken a face off. You've got Sheldon Keefe trying to do what he can. You've got lines. You got centerman filling in, taking draws, going off for line changes. Like, the whole flow is all screwed up because Jack's not himself, and we know how important he is for this team. But Brett Pesce, they got him back. Simone Nemitz should be coming back here any given time. But then there's that other factor where you got Kovacevic, who can't get off the injured list because of the cap situation. So it's like, there's a lot going on. Injuries have certainly been a factor, but it just feels a little bit. It feels a little bit more than that, or it feels like this has happened too many times to use that as an excuse.
You're watching and listening to Mike Rupp, NHL Network analyst, former National Hockey Leaguer, Stanley Cup champion. So this whole Hughes story, basically from whether or not they could get Quinn to booing brother Luke, to the point where, like, there's been some harsh people on Luke, from thinking that he doesn't deserve $9 million a year to he should be benched, he should be scratched, he should be sent to the minors here. Is this a fan base now taking out their frustration on maybe not getting Quinn Hughes on brother Luke?
I think so. I think it's probably not just the Quinn Hughes thing. It's just a fan base that feels like they've been here before. And this dates back. And again, I'm just going to tell you what I feel like the pulse is with the fan base, at least what I can gather. You take this back a few years ago, they had goalie issues. And that was at that time where it was pre-Connor Hellebuck getting his extension in Winnipeg, and that was the big one they wanted to go after. And I simply don't think that was the right move at that time, to bring in a goalie. And it's easy to say now, oh yeah, Connor Hellebuck would help because he's won 2 Vezinas and a Hart Trophy. But at the time, you didn't know that you're going to get that level of Connor Hellebuck, and you knew the type of money you'd have to give up. So, there was certain things. I think they just feel like nothing's been done to help the group. And that's where they're at. And I would say this, even though I feel like we're on the cusp of maybe something happening or something given in that standpoint, I feel like when you have these moments where the bottom falls out, all that does is tell management that we're not the team that maybe we thought we were. So why would you go and make that massive move to get you over the hump when you're not even at the base of the hump? You're at the base of the hump. You know what I mean? Like, get over the hump. You haven't even started climbing yet. So I think that's something that I think has been real frustrating for fans, but I feel it, I hear it. But I also think the longer this goes on right now, the team is showing that they're maybe not as close as we all thought. As far as the Hughes situation, yeah, I think it was frustration for all those things I just mentioned. I think it's frustrating because it's a very unique situation where you basically have one of the best defensemen in hockey not say it, but everybody know and say it that he's ready to move, and you know where that place, the most desirable place for him to go is, and you can't do anything about it. And it doesn't happen. And then all of a sudden now you start trying to read the tea leaves. In that same amount of time, Jack was out of the lineup. Jack comes back. The team is fallen. Luke's having a rough season. And so, yeah, I think it's just taking frustration out on Luke Hughes. I didn't love it. I was very clear about that. I didn't think he deserved to be booed. He had a rough night, man. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It was a rough night. But here's the one thing I want to say, though, about Luke Hughes. I think he's going to be a hell of a defenseman in this league. He's been asked to come in this year on a decimated D-corps, like absolutely decimated, where you had nights where he's playing with Brendan Dillon on the top pair. You had nights where he's playing, he's playing his offside. He's playing with Dougie, he'll play Dougie Hamilton. He'll play his offside with Siegenthaler. Like he's been asked to do so much, leads the team in ice time. It's a lot to put on a 22-year-old's plate. And I'm not saying he has handled it perfectly, but it's all part of the process for him to get to where he needs to get to. I just think the kid's a heck of a player. And, that seemed to be a little bit just pinned up emotion that they took out on him. I don't think he deserved it, but I think this is a fan base that they don't care right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Good if I move on from Devils.
Yeah.
So it was funny because we were talking with the Devils and it's like everything's bad. People may be leaving. Who knows what's going to happen? And the Rangers have the same amount of points in more games played. Is the situation feel just as dire there?
Yeah, I mean, that one's at least kind of interesting in a different manner, because I think that it's kind of thrown some water on the potential fires there. Owner Jim Dolan comes out the other day and endorses Chris Drury. Mm-hmm. So whether or not and I think that's really important, and not to go back to the Devils, but like, that's why sometimes just saying something, doing something, being available, it helps a little bit. And that hasn't really been the situation in New Jersey. No one's heard anything on anything where Jim Dolan comes out and says, we believe Chris Drury's a winner. He's going to be here. He's not going anywhere. We are all set. The coach is all set. So at least all that stuff where we talked about where players are maybe waiting for something to happen, you can at least tell yourself, no, man, we got to figure this out. Like, let's start moving forward here. Now with those other injuries, the Fox and the Shesterkin, I have no idea where this goes. I don't know. I mean, the Rangers always seem to be, since they've been in existence, in on everybody. And I like that. It's fun to watch and be around, but it's like, I got the rumors out there that they're looking at Kiefer Sherwood. I don't see how that makes sense. Where they're at right now, where this season is, they've got this Panarin situation. It's really, really tough. It doesn't seem as dire, because let's see what the team does in the next couple of weeks without those big guys.
The one of the things as well with owner James Dolan, going on the radio or whatever show he went on, he talked about the patience for building a winning culture. And I'm okay if like the majority of your nucleus is 22 years old or 23, but he's got 33, 34, 35-year-olds. He's got a ton of guys that are older here. Like, they should understand culture by now if they're trying to win now. Like, it's a little late now to go back to Panarin and say, hey, this is a new culture here, pay attention.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know on that one. I think they've been trying to be for maybe culture's a very strong word to use in this situation. I think there's one for let's speak more like the kids nowadays. They wanted more dogs in their lineup, and that's why they went and got JT Miller. Like, they wanted more gamers to change the way the team is. The team was very vanilla over the last few years when things are not going their way, and I don't know if that's changed all that much right now. I don't know what you're looking at as far as where they're at in their culture. I will say they're a team that I think of the Panarin situation, and it's a really tough spot because I think Mika Zibanejad's been really good this year. I think Mika's been really good. What does Mika Zibanejad look like if there's no Artemi Panarin? if there's here's another one for you. What does Alexei Lafreniere look like? Because I think that there's still a lot of, hey, well, he's not going to be that superstar, or he's not going to be that star player anymore. But he did look pretty good when it was him, Trocheck, and Panarin, even a couple years ago. But if there's no Artemi Panarin, like, he is the singular driving force for offense. So I think, although you're trying to assess who we have with individuals, I think there's a lot of forwards in that group that you assess a little higher than you normally would, because Artemi Panarin's on your team. So if you're going to turn the page, whether it's a different culture, you just want to get younger, you don't want to give him the contract he's looking for, that's fine. I think that can affect this lineup in so many ways. So I don't know where they go. I think they're going to let the next few weeks tell the tale for them, what this season looks like. But it's not going to be a short order turnaround here for the New York Rangers. I don't believe so.
Rupp, isn't it funny, like all the things that like affect culture, like you know, in these different dressing rooms and whatever. I look at the Islanders now, like Lou Lamoriello is out. They bring in Matthew Darsh. I don't know if it's Darsh. I don't know if it's Schaefer. I don't know if it's the optimism and new picks, or bringing in Shabanov, or just more skill. What it is, but it feels like the culture is different around the Islanders, and because of that, there's suddenly like optimism with the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a bunch of different things. I think Patty Waugh gives them a swagger.
Yeah.
There's a swagger that he brings to the table. The team has it. I mean, this might be the best Matt Barzal we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Matthew Schaefer is a huge factor in all of this, because if you want the New York Islanders to keep getting better as the season goes on, I've been very impressed with them. They've been probably the most impressive team I've seen as far as what they're showing me. If you want the Islanders to do well, keep going after Matthew Schaefer, because it's just given them every opportunity to step up to the table and defend the young kids, stand up for one another, and they do it. So culture, they've got the culture. And I date this back, and I've said this to you guys before. I had some good buddies who played on that team in the last 5 years with the New York Islanders. And I've been told time and time again, because I say to them, why do you guys keep running it back?
Mm-hmm.
Why does the group keep coming back? Like, I don't understand. Like, enlighten me. And all I hear is, we want to do it together. And this is a special group. Like, this is a team that is so close. They stand up for one another. We see that on the ice, but they genuinely are a close-knit group. They've got a culture. Like, and the culture can do a lot, because there's a lot. I'm not saying that's the best built team in the National Hockey. It is not even close.
Yeah.
They get a great goaltender, but they don't defend still. But they have a culture that's winning them hockey games right now. And if they can put some of those other things together down the stretch, like, they are the one team in this area that I'd say look out for.
Yeah.
12 games on tap tonight. Rupper, you're going to be busy, my friend, but we sure appreciate your time on our show. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, anytime, boys.
Thanks, Rupper. Appreciate it.
That is Stanley Cup champion Mike Rupp.
A lot going on in the tri-state area.
I do like Patrick Waugh.
You know,
I do.
I remember you saying when you guys were talking about potentially getting Ottawa, that would have been maybe the candidate for your group.
Yeah. No, maybe.
That ownership group. Yeah, he would have been the guy. It's cool. You know, there is something where his confidence and belief, you just kind of believe too. You know, he's an easy guy.
Yeah, and there's times when it's not always going to be perfect for a guy like that. And he's very emotional. And a couple times I think I don't want to say backpedaled, but he mended some fences here and there, which you got to do sometimes. You know,
if you're going to be someone who ruins fences,
eat a crap sandwich if you have to, and just admit sometimes when you're wrong, especially when it comes to maybe dealing with players today compared to 20 or 30 years ago. And he can do that today in the year 2026.
Funny, he's got Duclair going, because that was a tough one last year.
So you mentioned the Senators there. I just wanted to bring this up. I'm not exactly sure what this means. So in order to make room for Lars Eller on our 23-man roster, we have moved Linus Allmark to a non-roster spot.
To a non-roster spot. I don't know what that means either.
You know what that means?
It just means his money, he can't play, and his money may be I don't know, off the books? No?
That's something we got to look into. I'm curious about that.
There's got to be a cap implication.
For sure. You
And
can't just.
the other implication is he's not coming back anytime soon.
No.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I mean, can you do it for 24, 48 hours?
Yeah, I don't know. And if this were not an option for other teams, you think I'm sure there's cap implications because otherwise teams would just be doing it. So
it's game time. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Like Kyper mentioned, busy night tonight on the ice. 12 games, lots of good ones. Florida and Montreal is a really good game. We'll obviously have a close eye on Toronto and Philadelphia. And what I obviously am going to bring up because of what Bundy said in our first hour about Nikita Grabankin. Let me just find out what this
you're Grabankin on him scoring a goal.
Oh, you son of a gun.
All right.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Let's see what they got for a number for Nikita Grabankin. Nikita Grabankin to score a goal tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers. He is plus 650. Plus 650 for Nikita Grabankin to score a goal tonight. And if you really wanted to get crazy, score the first goal of the game, he's plus 3,500. So I know that this happens a lot. It probably happens to a lot of teams that players come back and they score. And I don't think it's unique to just the Leafs thing, but it really does happen a lot.
Do you happen to have a Scott Laughton scoring a goal number for me?
I do have that number for you.
That would be nice.
That number would be, as I quickly scroll down here, he is worse odds to score than Nikita Grabankin. He is plus 850 tonight to score a goal.
And he will start the game, right?
I would imagine.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like
unless he's going full Babs
I think,
and sitting him in the press box.
I think Tocchet likes to read the tea leaves on that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're head to head
against them.
They're going to fight.
A lot in Grabankin fight for no reason. Neither guy did anything wrong.
So there's some other good games tonight. I got to think that, like what we were just talking about with Rupper, big game for the Devils tonight.
I bet you Devils win.
They are minus 105.
I know he didn't mention anything in particular as in having inside information or knowledge, but like, could you see a shoe dropping here?
Are we talking about the coach, the
GM?
Coach
or GM, something.
Let me close off the game time. It was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app's latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Does it feel like that? Like they could, like Sheldon should still be fairly safe, don't you think?
9-0 was a big deal, but they finished third in the Metro last year and made playoffs. This year, their underlying numbers decent. Schedule's been hard. Injuries are there. Pretty tough to fire a guy. I know I hear, we love Fitzy on this show. I definitely have heard his name from fans, but that's the only place I've heard it from. I don't know. Maybe they got to pull a trigger on a move. Like if everyone's waiting for the shoe to drop, then give the boys a new body so your body doesn't get dropped.
Drop the shoe.
That should be the move.
So they've lost 6 out of 8. Is that enough to? They beat Columbus, they beat Utah, and then they lost to Carolina and the Islanders 9-0. But I don't know. I mean, that to me would be a really big move by this ownership group to do something drastic right now, even if they lose to Pittsburgh.
Make a trade. Trade a body. Get someone in that people are excited about. Make a push here. I think they're better than...
I know we've talked a little bit about Ottawa and their goaltending, but Markstrom their goaltending has to be better.
The alumni team. Oh, speaking of goaltending,
assume he's not playing.
Quickly, we got to talk about the Binnington-Hofer thing.
So the Blackhawks get 7 on the Blues. It looks like Montgomery wants to pull Binnington, but can't find his backup goalie. So is that the story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me quickly. Ethan emailed me the quotes. The quotes today wasn't on audio. It was to Rutherford exclusively in the Athletic.
Yeah, he's talking to Ott.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a.
Hofer's peering around the corner.
What is that clip?
So he was in the room because he can't sit on the bench. He didn't have his upper gear on.
Okay, so do you want me to read what Montgomery said?
Sure.
We had signaled back to make the goalie switch, and the lines of communication on the headset were not clear initially, Montgomery said. Joel Hofer wasn't ready, and it kind of symbolizes last night's play. Our special teams weren't ready. Binner had no issue. He knew what we were doing, so there was zero malcontent by Jordan Binnington. Ultimately, that falls on me that the goalie wasn't ready to go in because I'm the head coach and I'm the one in charge of this team.
I guess I got a question for Jim Montgomery, another guy that I really like in the league as a coach. What are you pulling your goalie for down 4 with 5 minutes left? What is that? Who's that for?
I mean, there's not apparently there's no room on the Chicago bench for another goalie.
It's not the
Okay,
question
stop
I
right
asked.
there. No. I that's the first place I go. Okay, this is 2026.
What is this, Milan Cortina?
How do
Get
we
a guy on the
not
bench.
have an area, a bench
Isn't
that
that
we can invite every player on our team?
You're right.
Why don't we just leave them in the bus? Why don't we just leave them at the
Isn't
hotel?
this the same in Madison Square Garden?
What are you
Yeah,
doing
but they have
here?
to sit over in the corner.
Yeah,
They don't
they-
get to sit in the locker room with no top on.
This is the best league in the world, and we don't have enough room for everybody on the team.
Like, I know some people who can do some renos. Can we expand the bench?
Call
3
the guys
feet?
call the guys from Milan. They'll get it done.
pull a chair out somewhere.
Call John
But can
Luca
we
and
invite every player on the team to sit together?
No.
I agree. It is Mickey Mouse. But it's a lot of rinks.
It's
Not
a
a lot.
joke.
It's a handful of
It
rinks.
is a joke.
at
It's a
least.
joke.
100% a joke. It's absurd.
Gary, fix it. Right? Bettman should be like
I
mandatory,
thought
all
we're
players
an
on the bench.
inclusive league.
But I mean,
Not touching that.
maybe have the goalie have his top on and ready to rock instead of sitting
Can we
there having
not
a
call it
Bud
his
Light.
top?
Let everybody
His top and
sit
his bottoms.
together.
His uppers?
His uppers and his bottoms. Uppers and lowers.
Our thanks to Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. That was fun.
Good stuff,
Sure.
boys.
Awesome
Absolutely.
stuff. Like we said, 12 games on tap. Pick yours, and we get to do it all again tomorrow on Off the Rails Friday.
Friday already, man.
Already?
Wow.
Have you got Doug McLean all set up?
Haven't talked to him yet.
All right. Get it going.
TBD.
If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. On YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Enjoy your night, everybody.